are live. We are live? Yes.
We can give it a second just to kind of ramble because whenever
Oh,
we StreamYard this stuff, there's always like that delay.
speaking of which,
We
I
get like
fixed
10
my
seconds
internet.
into. Oh, well, this will be the first test to see if
Eh,
if it holds out and we don't have those weird like
Um,
freezes.
okay. First form, I not only did I switch cable, I didn't switch cable provider. I have now more of a dedicated connection to my just for work. I don't want to mix the internet. For years I've always mixed the internet between myself, my wife, and my son, and
Hmm.
um,
That's
it,
what I'm having to do right now. Yeah.
and although you would think at 9:30 p.m. that's not an issue, uh, I don't know if it's just like whenever we live stream, whenever we go live, and they notice there's a lot of data coming out of or going from one spot, they typically kind of. Anyways, short answer is I now have my own dedicated line. I am hardwired into this laptop. I am not on Wi-Fi. There is no chances of interruptions.
Now, I just got to ask before you set up your own like broadband connection, did you try cable connecting that laptop to the rest of the family? Because I
So
feel like that might have been a bigger problem. The Wi-Fi might have been a bigger problem than
I think the
the
Wi-Fi could
broadband.
played a very big role into it because I've done many tests over, and you're right that hardwiring it would have been the easiest example. But the problem is where my modem is currently installed, because we live in a two-story house. It's installed upstairs in my son's room,
Mhm.
and that's on the opposite side of the house. So I wouldn't have been able to do a live stream to test it for long enough of a duration. It would have been more of me just sitting in a room by myself, and that wouldn't have been a really test. So for us to
Well, I mean,
test it out.
I just like, in one of the first times that like I tried to help my grandmother when
Mhm.
she moved into a new house, we basically just bought
And okay, so I
a
guess it's
couple
not the
hundred
internet because we're having the first problem now.
a couple hundred feet of Ethernet cable. So
And there you go. First problem, first spin of death. Didn't fix anything.
well,
Uh,
you kept moving for me, and I kept moving on my side. So I don't know. I don't
oh,
know what really
so
happened.
on my side, it didn't do a circle of a little spinning circle for both of us. It only did it on yours. I was still moving, but it typically looks that way to me whenever we've done the freeze or the. Anyways, short story. Yeah, no, I agree. Hardwiring anything will always circumvent any kind of problem, especially if you're able to. For me, it would have been a very, very interesting process of hardwiring or running wires from my son's room down here, and
I mean,
to
Ethernet's not that pricey. Could have made it
it's
work.
not
But
the
anyway,
yeah. And I'm just literally saying second story, opposite side of the house.
right.
Uh, and I also thought about maybe calling the cable company and having them move the modem because I do have a setup here.
Oh, yeah, that would have been helpful.
But then, so what I did is the reason the whole genesis of this is I saw a tweet from Trisha actually talking
Mhm.
about her
Thinking
live
about
stream.
business line.
Yeah, and so I tweeted at her and it's like, hey, how do you maintain and make sure that it kind of works, so on, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. And that was her idea. It was essentially is to have a separate business that works in the same area, so have two services, but only run work on that. So that's what I'm typically doing, and I've enjoyed the benefit. It's nice. It's faster. I mean, it's expensive, but it's now I can downgrade the other internet, which I don't need anymore to be fast there.
Take that, family.
Yay!
Yay. Well, I
480
think
all the way. No,
we're
sorry.
probably we're properly into streaming on both platforms. It's just that whenever I've gone back to the Twitch side, there's always like a 20-second chunk, like it just misses the beginning of our conversation. Everyone, welcome to the best of our week, where
Yes.
TK and I nerdily break down the best geekiness of our weeks, and hopefully you along for the ride will have some geeky nerdcore fun stuff to contribute as well,
Yeah.
as we're wrapping this week up. And it's been a heck of a week. I know I've been trying to get into the swing of things. I know TK's been working on a bunch of projects. We're trying to front
Trying.
load a bunch
Yeah.
of videos, and again, 2021 coming off of CES, we're trying to find what this new workflow is going to look like. And we're just glad that those of you out there who want to have just a nice chill conversation, we definitely appreciate everyone who's going to join for this, especially for as incendiary a title as this week's podcast is.
I made it
The
nicer.
the
I
sky is falling, dogs
yeah.
and cats living together, mass hysteria. it's probably the worst thing that could befall the smartphone and telecommunications industry. And I know we're all very, very, very upset about the leak of a memo and the potential for a buyout. So
yeah, especially after last week. That's really where the biggest kicker was, right? Like after last week we ended with an excitement. We talked about it on the show last week. We were talking about their rollable. We're talking about the whole concept going on. And then
hold on. Did you get the email from LG PR? The one that was like, LG basically stole the show at CES 2021. And part of that was also like showcasing Velvet and the scrollable phone.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
It was
I
a
don't know if they
very,
were sent it to me. Like that's something that maybe they just sent to me. I don't know. Uh-oh. So TK froze on my side. Please let me know in the comments if I was still
this time it
moving
happened
there.
to me. TikTok. I did a spin of death. You never froze.
I don't know what's happening. You know, at some point we're gonna have to try Restream.
At some point we're gonna have to graduate to Greastream. I agree. I think I may have. Yeah. Dang it. Okay. I tried. I'm going to call them and cancel the server tomorrow.
We need the data points, and you're going to do a stream on YouTube, so a direct connection to YouTube to see if that has any issues. But I think a part of this might be trying to join two streams. Anyway, yes, CES, LG. I kind of want to, this isn't so much a will they or won't they? Because I mean, really, we just kind of need to see how this all goes down. There are a couple different eventualities that might befall a company like LG trying to do something with an underperforming division. And this isn't new. I mean, we've seen this from numerous companies in the past. HTC selling off a chunk of their smartphone division to Google. Sony back in the day with the Vio. And the fact that that technically I think you can still buy Vios, right? Like that brand was just shuttled off.
I think it's shut off to somebody else. Yeah. I think the Vio brand, sorry, I'm going to confirm right now.
So yeah, what actually landed, and it was really adorable. I gotta say how much I love this nerd crew out there. Was as soon as the news started breaking, I got almost 24 communications from emails to tweets to Discord messages. Oh my God. Juan, have you seen?
I fought the urge. I fought the urge.
I got 2 texts. Neither of them came from you. But again, that's how pervasive this was for me. Because I've definitely put myself out there as appreciating LG smartphone hardware. The thing that bothers me is the memo itself isn't news. It's an internal communique where they say literally anything could be on the table. And that's corporate speak for actually kind of exactly what that communique says. Literally anything could be on the table. At any given point, if you're working at a mega corporation with as many different revenue streams as like LG, Samsung,
okay, this
Sony,
is where we're freezing now.
Then
I think this time we both froze.
I mean, I'm still seeing you. Someone in the comments is going to have to tell us if we're freezing on their end, because I'm still able to see you moving.
I can see you too.
Stopped, so.
I'm assuming no. Oh, you can't even see me. Oh, that's messed up. Juan?
Yeah, I can. I never stopped being able to see you, and you never froze. So you frozen once.
Okay.
And Vince Novo is saying, I don't see anything happen on this side.
We'll fix it in post then. We'll keep.
I'm telling you, this is a StreamYard thing, and it's probably not our data connections at this point.
It has to. Yeah. It just, for me, it makes absolutely no sense for it to even be the data. Okay. So if they didn't notice anything and everything else is working fine, then I would just say keep going at it, and then I'm sure we'll be able to figure out. But so where I lost you was essentially is that this was a typical or a standard memo that anything could happen.
Well, but I mean, that's kind of the point is if you're a part of an underperforming division at a mega corporation, it's actually kind of rare that companies just pull a Google, right?
Mhm.
That was actually one of the press releases today. They're going to kill Project Loon. Let's put internet on balloons.
Balloons.
And you're like, yeah, I could kind of see where you're not really going to sell off that division. So
Mhm.
Google, yeah, go ahead and kill Project Loon.
Well,
Um,
Google has like 1,000 projects running at the same time too. You got to
I
you
mean,
had to keep in mind, right?
not as much anymore because they keep killing them all. Boom.
Well,
but LG putting out some sort of message internally that like, hey, all of the any potential is on the table.
okay.
This could be shuttered, it could be sold off. They're entertaining every idea. That's kind of expected. I would expect that LG has probably been examining the profitability and the place of their smartphone business for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Um,
But
what
I'm
what
also
what
imagining that the division or the mobile division isn't as big as it used to be at some point. I'm assuming that they've gone through a few iterations of either downsizing or reallocating certain people over the years.
Oh, for sure.
Just because the
And
performance
definitely
isn't,
last
yeah,
year. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say it's not like it's magic or it just happened last year. It's not like it's the result after 1 year of performance. This um, it's a known effect, obviously, that LG doesn't hold as much share market as it used to a few years ago. I think ever since
Well, internationally, yeah.
Internationally for sure, but even in the U.S., I think at one point
No,
they
LG post G4 dropped to around 8% market share, and now they're back up. Depending on the analyst you follow, they're back up to 13 to 15%.
well,
So
I think
actually,
2020
they've
was a very good
grown
year for
pretty significantly,
them. Hmm.
but we're also pretty confident that they've been growing on the backs of like K series and Stylo and relationships with MVNOs. So
Yeah.
it's less a situation where LG has been able to build the mind share at the premium end. It's that they're doing a very good job of satisfying and consistently satisfying. Because when we
Hmm.
say 15% of smartphone sales in the United States, that means a quarter of all Android handsets sold
Hmm.
are LG in the USA. It's just that they're not the most profitable phones in LG's lineup.
It's they're not, and I agree with that 2020 was definitely a good year for them because we also saw a couple of big milestones for them. Their return to retail stores, which was also a big thing that I felt like was a big problem. For at least the ability for them to stay in the market, for people to be aware that LG still makes phones, having them being removed, T-Mobile removing them from their stores was a big
Yeah.
event for me. And when I think we were at the same launch, PR meeting last year or so, when they finally said, "We're back at T-Mobile, we're back in the
Yeah.
stores," and that was the exciting part because not only did they, in a way, I'm going to say that they listen, but they also are feeding in and are responding to the demands that people wanted out of their devices. They
Mhm.
made the device bigger batteries, headphone jack, wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, and not reverse wireless, sorry, wireless charging.
Wireless charging.
Yeah, 4K 60. They did a lot of a lot of things right in 2020. And like I said, the surprise part of it is the way the media, or at least the way currently the current conversation is going about. Um, After CES, that memo comes out, and I think that's the shock value. Not necessarily what the memo says, but it's the timing of it. Like after trying to hype up everybody out on the market side, why would you send the letter literally the week after, or the
Well,
memo?
no, no, actually, I mean, I think the timing kind of makes sense though. It was
Okay.
around this time last year that we really started getting the messaging on the pivot LG was going to be taking for 2020,
Hmm.
where the V60 was no longer going to try and compete feature for feature, spec for spec against, a Galaxy S20. And I think they chose some smart compromises for V60. And then I think scrapping the G series and delivering the Velvet was a good image piece. Like it
Yeah.
looked good. It did decently well. I mean, it wasn't
Mhm.
going to be a top seller, but it did decently well in a number of markets where I'd be very shocked if whatever phones we get from LG aren't more in line with Velvet than they are with the V60.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
agree. Design-wise, the Velvet is very eye-catching. I
but getting
mean,
to 2021,
yeah.
this is the right time to also now establish what is going to be the further pivot. As long as LG holds on to the smartphone division, they're going to be looking at ways that they can cut costs, reduce overhead, and try and carve out some kind of profitability. And in that memo, one of the options on the table was ways that they can reduce costs and streamline their smartphone business. I think this is going to be the year where we likely see ODM involvement,
Well,
where
that's yeah.
LG is
I saw that
tapping
part as well.
another
Mhm.
manufacturer to for making different tiers of phones, and maybe
Mhm.
LG is only responsible for like in-house building and shipping and distributing a flagship device.
Or
If,
even the
if
Explorer.
that's
They
the
may even
pivot, then
baby the
that's fine.
Explorer. Yeah, no.
All right.
I agree with the approach. So so I think the presence of LG has had its own merit. I think LG as a company is different in a different situation than what HTC was. HTC was a phone manufacturer, but LG also produces panels. LG also produces other components. They're not just one area. They
Oh,
exist in so many different.
LG's quarterlies over 2020 were phenomenal.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, no,
their
we need
other divisions are definitely performing really well. It's we've always been looking at the smartphone division being somewhat in the red.
That's the thing. You have to keep in mind that yes, maybe the smartphone division is in the red. I mean, Sony was also kind of a similar situation not that long ago, and the reality of the matter is they kept their mobile division because of the fact of the matter is, if you think about it, how many almost all of the phones on the market right now are holding. I'm not going to say all, but like a very large number of smartphones on the market are being used with Sony IMX sensors. So
Yeah.
Sony as a company figured out a way to make their division work. I think LG, the approach that you're talking about with ODM, maybe like I think what I saw with the article was, yeah. Sorry.
It's funny that you bring up Sony because I'm sitting here and I'm still waiting for Android 11 on my Xperia One Mark II. We need to make this a regular feature of our podcast.
Every single second. Let's just do it right
Is
now. I'm sorry,
um,
I gotta do it one
our,
more.
our
So
weekly check to see if we've gotten Android 11 in on our
are,
Xperia.
are we worthy yet? Let me
If you
see.
get it before me, I'm gonna be real mad. Nope. No.
I'm
I do
spinning.
not have
Nope.
Android 11 yet on my Xperia.
No, and not only that, I saw the news that what Xperia 1 and Xperia 5 were getting it now before we get
Yeah.
it. I'm like,
Yeah, there are regions where they're starting to get it. So it's
yeah,
funny that you bring up Sony because they are culturally phenomenally, like, they're almost bookend different kinds of companies.
they
And
are.
Sony, I feel like, holds on to the Xperia out of like almost a nationalistic brute force pride. Like, it doesn't matter if the phones don't sell. We're making the best phone that we think people should buy. That is the Sony phone, and we have
And I
decided
and
what
I
it should
love them
be,
for that. I
and they're
love them
putting it out.
for that.
And I mean, they're
Yeah.
kind of not wrong,
No,
especially if you're
no.
really into Sony hardware. This is the phone. This is the phone.
This
But LG, again, it's been the frustrating aspect of being an LG fan and knowing the people who work like North American LG PR, and knowing that, like, they probably aren't being given the resources or even just the flexibility to be more aggressive in telling
mhm,
an LG story. So it always feels like LG puts out a product and then
mhm.
they instantly roll over and then disappear from the conversation. And Sony, on the other hand, is like, well, we put out the product and we also make alphas and we also make the PlayStation. If you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. And that kind of works for me. I kind of like that. There's a certain bravado. And I wish LG could find, his Stella gets her groove back. I wish LG could kind of find some of that flavor, because they do things in a very particular way, but then they don't tell that story to consumers why that might be
Or
interesting.
or when they're trying to tell the story, they focus on the wrong title or they focus on the wrong part of the story a little bit. I didn't. You know what I mean.
Yeah, no,
You
like
know what I'm.
Aubrey Plaza with the LG G7 using Google Assistant, and you're
Take
like,
a picture. Yeah, I'm like.
take a selfie. You're like, any phone could do that. That
I'm like,
literally,
no,
you literally
yeah.
just sold to Samsung.
I'm like, brust through a wall and come out with a headphone jack with a pair of
What
headphones
was
and
it?
say,
Was
"This
no?
sounds
Let's break
amazing."
them down. Let's break them down. G5. It was Jason Statham, playing every character in a little action adventure scene. So he's also like the little girl that gets like scooped up on a motorcycle, and he's also like, it's this trippy,
On
bizarre
movie.
ad.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's for the G5, and it's like you see the G5 in that commercial for a fraction of a second.
Absolutely.
For V30 and V40, their big partnership was Hit Record with Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Okay.
where you had Joseph Gordon-Levitt drumming in the subway and people like dancing and doing fun, artistic, really obnoxious millennial things. But again, they only show the phone very briefly at the very end of that commercial, and it has nothing. The phone is not a part of any of the.
No,
It's
and
not like
none of the phone's features were highlighted in
or
the way.
highlighted at all.
Yeah.
V50 was a Zombie Valentine. The commercial was zombies taking a selfie and falling in love. And
That's right. That's right. The guy loses his arm. That's right. Yes. I remember that
and
one.
I'm really trying to rack my brain. I know for V50 there was like
only
a
Sprint, right?
What's that?
Wasn't it only on Sprint in the US? Wasn't even actually
No. But internationally there was at least a tie-in with one of the football clubs. So
makes sense.
When you were watching international soccer, I watched a lot of international soccer, so it would still show up on my TV. But it was a very like, we're LG and we're multicultural and woke and do things that other people don't. And you're like, okay, cool. I mean, it's kind of like some sort of like anthemic anthem is what I'm trying to say. Some sort of anthem or aspirational. But like, again, it's just pretty multicultural people, and you don't see the phone until like the last scene of the commercial. And I'm still waiting for that one commercial. Oh, I don't even have my V60 on the table near me. Oh, it's way over there.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for that.
I'll put it in the stream for you. Here you go.
Oh, thank you. I'm still waiting for that one commercial where someone's world is in black and white, and then we see them pull a V series phone out of their pocket, and then they plug in some headphones, and then their world is in color. And I mean, like, I need that to be a 15-second commercial that runs on some kind of streaming service. And it's killing me that LG hasn't done that. I need LG to make a commercial where someone is stuck out in the rain and they use the manual feature on their camera to shoot slow motion video of the raindrops like I did in Taipei.
Yeah.
And that's a 15-second commercial, and it's quiet and it's pretty and it's raindrops and it's cute, like bubbling techno music. And like, I did that. When I went to Computex, I got stuck in a horrendous thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I used the manual video mode to lock my focus and lock my shutter for those really crisp water drops at 240 frame per second, 1080p. And I set that to music, and it's beautiful because every water drop is almost the exact right timing for a hit in the music. And where is that commercial that just reflected like something that you could actually do with the phone? And I cannot think of a single LG advertisement that ever leaned into a feature or showcased something that their phone could do.
I almost wonder if when the ad campaign was put together, was LG providing direction, maybe, or not necessarily, or maybe just saying, I don't know. It's almost like, if I was sitting in in a meeting like this, and that specific, she's jumping in and takes, like, hey, I'm not going to say the name, take a selfie kind of thing. And I realized the star power. I realized that we got to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We understand, but it's because of our fandom that we understand it. But for the Samsung user, for the iPhone user, for the general Android or smartphone user, they're not going to know what that is and what's the point of it. All they knew at the end of that commercial, in my opinion, is that a Google service provides them the ability of taking a picture from by themselves by using their voice. That was where I felt like I think their input needs to be a little bit more hands-on with that experience, and that's one of those things. We'll have to see what kind of happens. And I think here there was also the Flex. Let's not forget, if you remember the LG Flex, the first phone that flexes. I think we remember.
I honestly do not remember. I totally believe you, Hime. 333
Yeah.
that there probably was one. He's saying that, or they are saying that the Flex had a laser autofocus commercial. I'm sure there was. I genuinely do remember it.
I remember
And
the flexing part of it. I
but
remember where they
again,
put
a
it on
part
the
of that
table, and yeah,
is how we tell that story.
yeah.
Everyone who's into advertising, like I really do enjoy the PR and advertising game. Those of us remember those iconic like iPhone commercials, like when the iPhone finally got water resistance and they showed it off by someone putting an iPhone on a bicycle handlebars and the garage door opens and it's just pouring rain and AC/DC starts cranking up, and Apple was actually put into an actionable position because those ads were not reflective of the actual water resistance
of the ingress protection was not at that rating level.
No, but tell me that didn't have like a huge impact. It's such a simple spot. I want to say it's a 15-second spot, and it's so on point, and it communicates one feature beautifully in a very like visceral way, and it's frustrating because I feel like companies like LG and Sony, they could be telling those stories. It's just, that they're not going to commit the money to the advertising, that they're not going to spend on that kind of stuff, and then the messaging gets lost, and it basically just gets seeded over to Apple and Samsung. It just reinforces why people should only look at Apple and Samsung products, because like it feels like, hey, I bought this awesome LG, where'd they go? Why aren't they still talking about my super awesome phone that I spent a lot of money on?
I think maybe then if we look at it, well, based on what we've just kind of covered in that sense, I guess a more focused approach may be a better way for them to sustain or continue the conversation. And maybe if it's not, like you said, maybe an ODM takes over the certain, the mid-range to to budget line devices, they carry over the name, but it's built by an ODM. You have at least some leverage in the company to be able to focus more. But my hope is that it's a new page in the book as opposed to another repeat of an existing conversation. It's that, downsize to focus to grow in the future, not necessarily downsize just for the sake of continuing a conversation that may or may not stay relevant in a year or two. So I want them to focus on what they did in 2020 and continue there. I think the Velvet and the V series provided us a glimpse into what LG can do, and the options that it can give you at a reasonable price, at an entry level point. They proved that both MediaTek and Qualcomm can be used in a specific device. It exists in the same market on a different variant of the same device. The Velvet you had a chance to play with the Velvet as a MediaTek processor. I got a chance to play with it as a Qualcomm processor because I got a different version of the phone. I finally got myself a hands-on with a MediaTek 1000, a Dimensity 1000 Plus, smartphone. And it's actually really nice. I'm not trying to say I'm not saying MediaTek is not good, but LG was a big part of that conversation.
It's all perception.
Again, it is absolutely. It is all
in the idea of these brands from like 5 years ago. And the idea of MediaTek as a brand from 5 years ago does not reflect the reality of using those products today. Yep. And again, I'm really excited to see the announcement for the Dimensity 1100 and 1200. In that, we should be seeing a slightly different kind of competitor against what Samsung's doing with the Exynos and what Qualcomm's doing with the A88. I'm not going with an X1 core. Actually, is kind of interesting.
Let me see if I can do this one.
He's doing it. Ooh, look at Mr. Fancy Pants. At some point, I'm gonna have to really harass one of your PR contacts from MediaTek, because I've been trying to get anyone from MediaTek just to have on for an interview. And they literally do not want to talk about their products in North America. And it's driving me crazy.
Okay, you froze again. Ah, dang it. Okay, this really sucks. Are you there?
I never left.
Okay, no, I know you never leave. It's that So okay,
The next time you say, "Oh no, you froze again," I'm gonna like dive under my desk. That way you'll know that I'm really gone.
and the
But
show will continue. But
but
yeah, no,
before
we'll have to have a
before we switch
conversation.
gears to MediaTek, I do want to put a pin in the LG conversation because the other option that's on the table, and the one that I think is most likely over the
Mhm.
next couple of years, is LG selling off their smartphone division. The
That
least likely option is LG shuttering. So I feel like what we're going to have a halfway point maybe over this year where LG pushes ODMs to make some of the less expensive phones. It's a little less precious exactly what goes into a lower model K series, but
true.
LG wants to have a specific vision for Explorer and for a V series replacement. And then maybe by this time, 2022, some kind of acquisition takes place. And that was one of the other pieces of news that kind of lended some credence to this idea was Vin,
Mhm.
Vin Mobile, which I believe is Taiwanese. Someone's going to have to correct me on, or no, Vietnamese. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it was a Vietnamese company. You're right.
where that makes a lot of sense. If you've already got an infrastructure that's manufacturing LG in Vietnam,
Mhm.
then it kind of, I don't know that it would be I don't know that we would lose so much if that smartphone division were just carved out of LG
Mhm.
HTC style and
Yeah.
was sent over to Vin in Vietnam. We would maybe lose like a year of them being in North America, depending on how carrier contracts work and those supply line agreements and distribution. But it's very possible we could just end up with the same phones we would have gotten just under a different label. So at least that's one possibility on the table that I think it's not a foregone conclusion, but I think is very likely that we might see.
The name though, so this is the weird thing is because LG has such a big a big other side of what they do, because of that name, losing the name and I realized that, I'm going to keep talking now because I may have frozen for you for 2 seconds, but I'm going to keep talking. You didn't dodge. It's a different conversation for me. I look at it as realistically that if that direction ever becomes the path forward, it's going to be a tough comeback. I don't think LG will have a conversation to say because they won't be in the game. I mean, they basically are basically going to be either in one or two devices only, and that's a hard market to survive in. Just to release, the Explorer, like one-offs, like devices. If they only release devices that are very unique, like the Wing,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be hard because those devices are typically not going to be affordable. They're not going to be like what happened in December in 2020, or sorry, in 2020, where a K series LG was the number, around Christmas, the number
The
10
number one
device.
Android activated
Uh,
device.
I was going to say the number one Android. I was going to say, yeah, but
You were
so
going
it
to say
was
the
the one.
number 10 most activated device,
Android
but the
device.
truth
Yeah,
of it is it
it's
was
the
an
number one
LG that
Android
was the number one most activated
device.
Android device over the holidays.
And that's what I'm trying to say is
Well,
LG has the relationships with the
no,
carriers.
because of that,
Yeah.
I mean, again, if it's the entire LG smartphone division, LG doesn't need someone who's running logistics on carrier relationships if they
Oh,
sell
but
off.
they wouldn't. Yeah, no. If they sell off, it wouldn't. It's
So
not LG's concern anymore. I
So,
realize
so
that.
if they go to Vietnam and if the entire division heads over there, actually, I think it would probably be the reverse. I think we would lose out on the upper premium, super crazy expensive tier. I
Hmm.
think we'd lose out on Explorer, but I think we'd see a rush to use that smartphone developing and smartphone manufacturing talent
Hmm.
at making a slew of entry level and mid ranger devices. I think we'd probably see Stylo climb up a little to represent more of a premium mid-range position. K
Yeah.
series would probably start competing more like model for model against
Yeah.
all of the Galaxy A series, and
That,
then
that would that would be a good one.
maybe they keep something in the Velvet price range. I think we'd probably lose out on an upper tier, like V70 replacement, and we'd probably lose out on Explorer.
Depend. You're right. From an ODM standpoint, it wouldn't make sense for them to try to push those type of products. They want to make as much money as possible with the.
Well, and also
the
leveraging the region.
I was going to say
those, you can have some vanity projects, but after you acquire a smartphone division, you make money first. So I think like you'd see some really heavy hitting K series, especially if you can get that Snapdragon 480 and you can start pushing 5G.
It's 480 or 490. The new one
was the 480 is the new one.
The new one. Oh yeah, the new one with 5G. So no, I agree. I think the K series is a very compelling. I've typically what I do is I always see the K series at I think either Showstopper or Pepcom. I think it's Showstopper. Yeah, it is Showstopper. No, Pepcom. So there's always an LG booth at Pepcom that I always stop by, and it's always the K series because I never get a chance to hit them up on the show floor, but I always get a chance to play around and check out all the K series devices. So whichever ways LG decides to go, it is for any LG fan. Obviously, it's never a good or never an uplifting conversation where one week you're like, "Yay, rollables!" The next week you're like, "What is going on?" So it's a roller coaster of emotional kind of situation. I think and that's why you were probably getting all of those conversations, all of those tags.
Totally.
And I got none of those because obviously they know it's you, LG chill guy, hashtag some gadget guy.
The other thing that's frustrating though is you put out one memo that LG's considering selling off their smartphone business, and of course they are.
Yeah, no,
they're considering selling it off. They're considering downsizing it, or they're considering sort of operating as it normally operates. They're considering all of it. But the thing that sucks is LG is already not good at telling their own story. So now, the foregone conclusion and the emotional nerd reaction is LG is failing. The smartphone division is failing. They're selling it off. And that's the narrative. I mean, a lot of the editorials that we see don't really kind of encompass.
They're just repeating. It's some of the outlets are regurgitating the data that they originally saw maybe from another one because they're all referencing similar sources.
There's a messaging vacuum from LG because there hasn't been a great response to all of this.
They haven't. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They didn't respond to it, but they confirmed it. That there's a difference. and they denied the original one, which was the one that was originally starting with the "we're selling off" kind of thing. They said, no, that's wrong. And then this one, yeah, that's legit. So it's a communique. And I feel like when they need to have a single front point to talk when it comes to these things. And you can't have, when you have leaks and certain things as the world is right now, I realize, or maybe they're in the position where they're trying to work on a response and they need a little bit more time to figure out, because part of the conversation is that, maybe they are at that point in time where this is no longer. Keep in mind, we may relocate 60% of our existing workforce in the mobile department into other sectors of our business. But at the end, really, when I see it, I look at it and I'm a big fan of LG. I am a big fan. I'm not as big a fan as you are, but I am. Ever since the LG G5, I saw LG's experimentations that I felt like were doing things to try to find a new way of doing tech, to a new way to make things exciting. The G5 may not have been the modular phone that we all hoped it would be, but it brought us a factor of, removable batteries, attachments, camera attachments.
So a whole bunch of things came in on the G5 because the G5 is my low watermark for LG. Like I still have, I took my G4 out. I actually shared, this was a couple weeks back, I shared some of the photos on my Discord.
Yeah.
I took the G4 camera back out. This thing still shoots awesome. This is still a great shooter.
One of my favorite T-Mobile variants of an LG device for years, hands down. So what I got excited, the reason why I got excited with the G5 so much is because that was actually also my first MWC that I got a chance to go to.
Oh, okay.
So we were together. We were. I don't think we were together. I think you. Not yet. You weren't with Pocket Now yet. I think this was right before you joined. It was my
G5. I think so.
It was. So the reason I know this, so that was like roughly the first time where Josh and I got a chance to hang out a little bit. We were in Barcelona. I went to the event. I was in there. I was by myself. XDA sent me over there, and I was like crazy. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. My Spanish is not even remotely relatable to in this country. I speak the wrong Spanish, and but the G5 with the LG Friends and the attachments, the options, the 360 camera, there was a whole bunch of like I saw promise in LG and I saw innovation in many ways
That was
that I
exciting.
typically we don't see in the US. That's the thing. In the US, by the time we see LG, it's literally just the phone sitting on a shelf or on a presentation stand. I got to see the whole backstage act that LG puts together for things, and I got very excited. And then year after year, I was very excited with the endeavors that they decided to go with, the experimentations they did, the gestures on the G8, the dual screens attachments when they started with the V50. I don't think that they're wrong. I think they're finally figuring out what their right formulas are, and 2020 was a good example of that. The presumptuous conversation that we're seeing right now, that they are just already diving down concept kind of a thing. I think we need to take a step back and see what they decide to, because even in the memo they say nothing is solidified. Nothing is. There's no direction. They're not saying
And,
we're doing.
and that's always the reality of any leak or rumor or
Yeah,
anything. Is
it's the
it's not
confusion.
really
It's
real.
open to your own imagination, right? Like, what
But
do we do? What are you doing tomorrow?
but the difference is, Samsung's got a media marketing machine that dominates the distribution of Samsung as a brand.
That's true.
And LG just refuses to turn some of their marketing more towards their phones. And I think that's the big difference. Is you're in a messaging vacuum. You haven't been telling the LG story in earnest very well, and it's been a while since we've seen LG in a more dominant position in the smartphone industry, where they were considered a stronger second place
Yeah.
behind Samsung. Now people act like they're shocked when what, LG still sells phones, and you're like, yeah, you're dumb. You're dumb. I mean, if you ever said anything like that, you're bad at tech. So
Yeah.
this is the frustrating aspect of the reality of where we're at. Is once again, and now it's not on a phone, now it's for the entire smartphone division. But once
The
again,
whole
the
division, yeah.
narrative is being dominated by people on the internet that probably wouldn't have given LG a fair shot regardless. So it's unfortunate. And again, it's like I feel for the people on LGPR, and I know them, a few of them pretty well. Like I've been working with them in some capacity for a long time.
Yeah.
It's
I finally got a chance to meet them in last year,
yeah,
and
for the V60. Yeah, when
it
we
was
were there.
no. I was saying, I know who you're talking about. I know the people. Yeah.
It would be interesting to see, like, what would they do if they could do things. So anyway, the whole situation, LG dead. I think it unlikely that the manufacturing of LG style phones will go away. I think it very likely that over the next couple of years, this division gets sold off. And I think in the immediate, in the near term, we're probably going to see this year as another pivot towards cost reductions. That's my prediction.
Okay. We'll have to come back to this in 2021, 2022. I was going to say 2021. We're there. We'll have to come back to this in 2022 at the best of our show episode, insert number next year. And we'll have to kind of circle back.
Episode 58. Is that?
Well, we're to what, 2 weeks in? This is third week, so it'll be 50.
Best of our week, episode 6, and we do an episode a
another
week.
51, so 57. Yeah, 57, 58. It's in the 50s.
I think it's 58.
We'll get it done. We'll end up getting it done. And that screenshot of your face frozen, where it was a beautiful smile. It was a very happy like this, and it froze for quite some time. So I'm just going to keep ignoring the freezing now. I'm going to stop talking about it, because apparently it's literally on our side, and none of it is on everybody else's. They're all good. So yes, so the end of the conversation, where I feel like we kind of put a good time on it, is we don't think it's anything in the next week or two. It may be basically a conversation that could take about a year, maybe a couple of years, to kind of materialize, to see what the true plan is, what the future holds for LG. but I am excited to see what they come up with in this year, especially with the rollable that we saw early last week. The one I decided to use for the thumbnail to this video because I want to try that phone so much. But anyways, what else happened with you? I mean, do you feel like we covered the conversation, or is there anything else you'd like to add to LG, or a love letter, homage à toi?
No, I mean, and again, it's not worth eulogizing something that hasn't died yet. So
That's what I was
again,
going to say.
it's wait and see, and I feel like that's always the appropriate response. But again, it kind of ties into the frustrating, cranky soapbox narrative that I've been keeping on a number of my podcasts and videos and reviews, where at some point we look at the tech review landscape around us and we wonder why companies really aren't given a fair shot. I mean, I was just watching another thread on Twitter of tech reviewers patting themselves on the back for, well, I'm not going to compare the Galaxy S21's camera to the Google Pixel 5's camera because the Galaxy S21's camera sensor is larger. And you're like, if it's so easy to demonstrate some kind of material advantage from Samsung, then that's exactly when you show us that there's a difference. If you just sit there and lazily say, nope, Samsungs are better.
There was a magical, apparently this morning, I don't know if you caught it. Yeah.
But no, you're not doing your job. Your job as a reviewer is to demonstrate this stuff. But Google Pixels, they probably aren't as search popular as Samsung's. So as long as I just focus all of my review commentary on Samsung versus Apple, well, that's going to be better for my bottom line. That's going to be better for my ad revenue. That's going to be better for my watch time, for my metrics. Absolutely. And you're like, no, you make fun of me being an LG shill all you want, but I'm at least trying to showcase the very specific particulars of why I like certain brands. Yep. And I like comparing them against other alternative brands that are much, much smaller and rank much, much lower on market share. Let me tell you, my channel would be a lot more profitable if I only talked about Samsung and Apple. It's very disappointing because at the same time, we do this thing where we're like, oh, well, the Pixel 5, I can't show the Pixel 5 camera against the Galaxy S21 because it has the older camera sensor, and that's Google being cheap and backwards and old. Where was all this faux outrage on the iPhone 12 camera sensor? The iPhone 12 Pro uses the same kind of camera sensor as the Pixel 5, and it's a significantly more expensive phone. Are you going to tell me that you're not going to compare the Galaxy S21s to the iPhone 12s?
I think
what are you doing as a reviewer? What is your purpose of being, if you're not going to review these things and use them and demonstrate them, all you are marketing arms for Samsung and Apple.
And I think this is the first wave is like that. The first wave is always going to be, which it's not the right conversation. It's not the right. It's a weird place to be where you're on. It's just a weird place to be. The reality is, it's as a reviewer, you really should be doing what you're saying, Juan. You should be comparing the technology in whatever said XYZ phone, insert Samsung name device in, and comparing it to the what's currently in the market. What are the current offerings from other companies? Because at the end of the day, a consumer needs it. Okay, so the reason why we make videos, the reason why we show videos is, as you said, it's because the goal is to demonstrate what this tech can do. It's not that we don't think you believe us, meaning as a reviewer, when you watch my videos, I don't think you think I'm lying to you. But that's the whole point of the video. Otherwise, I could have written an article for you and not provide any kind of reference into what I did and just say, look, this is bad, this is good, go there. We need to be able to demonstrate the presence of
your work.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I've got an opinion that this camera sensor is going to be better because it's a Samsung.
It's back to elementary math. So work. And I say this because my son is learning that right now. Show your work. Yeah, we have to keep doing that, man. If he doesn't show his work, he doesn't get full credit. No, but that's what I mean. And I think the concern right now, unfortunately, what happens is with the wave that is currently having the conversation, because the conversation is being controlled. This is the way the approach is being done right now, right? Only people that are on an approved list to work with are able to make a conversation, but they're only making a conversation to support that conversation that they've had with the company. So that's really what we're listening to. And the reality of the matter is, really, when you're making a decision on a device, you need to wait till actual consumers are able to get them, reviewers that are buying them to be able to get them, because those are the people that are generally going to basically spend more time to try to see, is this make sense? Does this actually make, this is really a value for the money that you're paying for it? This morning I woke up and apparently it was Samsung S21 day, and I didn't realize it because apparently I didn't get the memo. But yeah, no, it was like 1,000 videos of S21. My feed was flooded with S21 videos. Same thing like whenever the unboxings were. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I saw a couple of videos, but I was kind of like, we're not learning anything new. I'll take this much. I say David Amell made an announcement at the end of his video, which I don't think a lot of people caught because I don't think people watched the video to the end.
So let me get this right. Your summation for Galaxy S21 day has nothing to do with the Galaxy S21.
No, I didn't really. Yeah, I mean, because okay, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be very frank with the fact is I'm a big fan of a lot of creators on the platform. I'm a big fan of, and I'm friends with
very close personal friends with a lot of people who make
YouTube. And the content that was put out today, for the most part, even when they did touch on the fact that we lost the SD card, or even if they touched on the fact that MST is no longer present, but apparently it's not present only in the US because European markets and Asia market have it. Don't make sense. It was more of a passing conversation. It wasn't really the discussion there. So I feel like it's truly like I didn't really feel like I was going to benefit much from watching. And although I do support them and I did follow, and I do check out their tweets and so on, all of that stuff. But it was literally like my highlight. The whole thing was the fact that David Amell is leaving Android Authority and he's going to work with MKBHD.
Yep.
That was and I somehow
that was the big takeaway for me too.
That's what I saw. I was like, okay,
to see how that relationship's going to go.
I'm excited to see it, but
don't care about the Samsungs at all. I'm really curious to see what work David does with Marquez.
Absolutely. And all I heard was 8K 30 frames per second. And I was like, dude, you got me at 8K. And I'm just kidding. So what happened is I saw the video before he made his own tweet about it, which I didn't realize. I didn't realize I was ahead of him. And I congratulated him before he made his own tweet for 30 minutes. Because I actually saw the whole, anyways. I don't know if anybody really sits through and sometimes watches the entire video, but I was like, when I got to the end, I got that shock. I'm like, what? This is my last video on Android. Like, it didn't start with that, right? Because I've seen other creators when they left and so on. So anyways, I wish him the best of luck. I was this close and asking him to see if he wants to join us, but he's on the East Coast and it would be really late if I wanted to kind of say, hey, come over and hang out with a couple of guys. So either way, yeah, David Amell is leaving. If you guys haven't heard it, he's going to hopefully create some magic. He already does.
Much bigger news than Galaxy S21.
To me, it was as a recap of today's coverage. David Amell is leaving.
So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to put that up as best of our week. There still has yet to be anything that I could see. Anyone has shown me or any conversation that I've seen that would suggest that the Galaxy S21 is not mostly a downgrade from the Galaxy S20. So
it's a very, very tailored, and I like to use that more of like a PC kind of thing, but it truly is. It's a very calculated move for Samsung with the S21. They gave us the same quality display and refresh rate that they gave us last year, but now they're making it sound like it's a feature on the S21 and the S21 Plus. To me, because we couldn't get 120 and QHD last year, so they forced even the Ultra to be. Yeah, you always had to. There was not even a
Quad HD and 120 hertz.
Which one?
OnePlus 8 Pro.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, I meant I meant if you went from like 20 to
OnePlus
21.
put out a better Galaxy S21 last year than Samsung.
OnePlus and
I
Oppo both.
completely agree with you, TK. I really feel like
Both.
people slept on the OnePlus 8 Pro, and what they meant to do was say it was the best Samsung that Samsung never made.
It's
That's an amazing point that you've just made there, TK.
the Samsung 8 Pro. Is that what we're going? We're going to go with the Samsung 8 Pro. The silent gem of 2021 2020 was the Samsung 8 Pro.
I've been taking the OnePlus 8 Pro back out, and again for some of like we always take like a walk, with Lex and Marie.
We do.
That camera sensor is so stinking good, and it is like, again, if it had expandable storage and a headphone jack, man. There's so much phone that's so
I have the distant cousin to that phone that I carry with me today on a daily basis. The Find X2 Pro is there's something about that phone. For an Android device, the camera quality, the performance, the speed, everything else is really like yes. And I think that was one of the reasons why every time anybody asked me, it's like, what's your favorite phone of 2021? I was like, there's a lot of different things that stand out to me, but the one that carried with me the entire year, that's a hard one to kind of just skip. It's a QHD 120 hertz panel that looks freaking awesome, that performed really nice, and Android 11 came on it and it just made it even better. Like typically you don't see that when they upgrade to another OS, right? It's typical that you see some differences. It's optimized for the next generation, but no, they revived the FX2. So Oppo's having a very good conversation, and I think that's one of the reasons why I was so excited about the Reno 5 Pro, because they're showcasing MediaTek. This is a Reno. I mean, realistically, it's not a flagship. Obviously, there's not competing with their Find X, but the Reno has always been a combination of price for features and a really good tailored story. Dude, this is actually a very, very snappy device, and ColorOS 11 makes it so much faster than it anticipated. And I saw some coverage as well. I mean, other content creators are covering it and so on. So I wanted to do something on my own, and so that's my best of my week. If I had to kind of put something together, other than David moving on to MKBHD, I would say.
Well, I mean, officially, the best of my week is Legos.
Oh, any new sets you're building? I have a little bit of collection here in the office. My son and I keep putting together.
What I should have been doing is the daddy-daughter Lego diary. For Christmas, I got a new Lego Hulkbuster.
Oh, nice!
But I made the offer with Lex, and I said I would like to build this with you, and she got really excited about that. Her attention span for building Legos is about 20 to 30 minutes max.
Yeah. Oh,
And
okay.
she's having to very frequently like redo steps because she won't like put the pieces in the right orientation. So she gets about 30 minutes and then she's like, okay, I'm done. So this is where we're at right now. Everything is done except for his forearms and hands.
It's not that bad, actually. It's
we're doing pretty good. This is 3 weeks. I mean, we're not doing it every day, but over a 3-week time frame, this is a kit that would have taken me like an hour to put together. But I'm going to put it out here just for our podcast, just for our stream. My prediction is that by our stream next week, my Hulkbuster will have one hand. Okay, so then that will be where we're gonna finish. But this will be my 4th Lego Hulkbuster armor. So I'm really happy to add to the collection.
And I'm excited that you're expanding the collection there. My son and I think over the holiday, my approach to Legos with my son, he was very excited about the Millennium Falcon Lego set. He wanted it for Christmas. We made it happen. He waited to Christmas. We opened it up. We started working on it. Yeah, his attention span was about maybe 30 minutes into it. And then after that, he was on a video game of some sort. I I could not let the Millennium Falcon sit in bags. Like halfway, we built the base and we weren't doing it. So we every once in a while I would bring him in. I was like, you made me buy this. This is you got to come in and kind of guilt him into it. Smaller sets, he has no problem. He can follow the instructions by himself now. Actually, I don't even have to help him. So anything that's around 300 or so, easy peasy. He opens the book, starts flipping, blah, 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 and he actually finishes in one sitting. But I think the Millennium Falcon was a more complex piece because it was built by sections, and it was just, and in some areas the instructions were not clear. I don't know why, but yeah, I love Legos.
It's tough when you start building. I mean, like for my birthday, I took some time out and I did the Saturn rocket.
Oh, okay.
1,969 pieces because it's the 19.
That's a lot. I mean, the Millennium Falcon like I was 1,300, and that was that. Yeah.
So my wife for Christmas also got me the Batwing, and that's 2,200 pieces. And
whoa, okay, you're really up there. Okay.
And I don't have the heart to break it to Lex that I'm not gonna build it with him. Like if this is taking us 3 weeks.
Do a time lapse video of it. Get the V60 out, set it up on a tripod, do a time lapse of the sucker, send her the video, and say, honey, that's what it looked like.
Congratulations.
We did it together. Those are the fun things. So you do. Their attention span gets better as you get older.
Actually, I mean, I gotta say, for when we were actually putting together, when we were getting to the legs, and the legs was kind of the two legs here were the most recent parts, and they were more evenly matched. Like when it says like, hey, you're just gonna make 2 of these arms, and you put together one of the biceps, and then the second bicep is almost exactly the same. She grokked that way faster.
Yeah, repetitive. It's easy to catch. Yeah,
and she's starting to kind of get the hang of like, oh, when they say rotate this, and I can see, and I can actually move the Legos, and I can move what I've been building so that it looks like this part of the picture. That like 3D imagination is starting to
the visualizing. The cortex. The 3D image.
That's what's really exciting, is because like I can literally see that light bulb click on. I mean, the magic of Legos is just incredible.
It's incredible piece of it's an incredible invention, and the way it was just evolved and it becomes part of our lives. Like for me, my son and I love to put things together. Like Star Wars are obviously big fans. But we also found, Dragon Balls, like I would say, like knockoff Legos from Japan. That we were at a flea market one time and we saw the set. I'm like, what? Dragon Ball has? When did that happen? And you see Goku and you see all the different little characters. To me, it was like just the excitement. So it's but the Millennium Falcon was by far, it was either that or what's it called? Mando's. I forget the name of the ship.
Slave.
No, not Boba Fett's ship. The Mandalorian, the main.
Oh, right.
Sorry. Hey, if he said the slave one, I would have been like, dude, that is so cool.
What I feel was kind of a missed opportunity was Star Trek, because I think Star Trek only had Mega Bloks. I don't think they ever did Legos. And who wants Mega Bloks?
They only like Mega Bloks when they're toddlers. They get older a little bit and they're like, and they start throwing them at you, and then you're like, yeah, that's
toddlers. I mean, like they're all about Duplos. I don't think anyone likes Mega Bloks. No one likes Mega Bloks.
Are we turning this show into the daddy and daddy can have a conversation about how the kids are doing?
I do want to be, actually, yes, because that's often the best of my week.
That's 90% of my week. What are you talking about, man?
But I did also kind of want to tease. The other best of my week was coming back to do one more video on the Nord. So
the OG Nord, the first Nord.
The N10.
Oh, the N10. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, the American Nord, not one of them foreign Nords. We've got the American Nord.
The American Nords. Yeah.
Come to the Patreon in not probably tomorrow. I've got it all shot. I just need to do the editing. Some very surprising results for speaker and headphone playback.
Not bad. Well, yeah.
I was
It has the
very
headphone jack. That's a new thing, right? No?
well, yeah, OnePlus invented this thing. It's about a 3.5 millimeter style connection, and you use
Interesting
it
size, yeah. Mhm.
to send an electrical impulse over a cable. I mean, this is amazing technology. It sends an electrical impulse over a cable,
Mhm.
which then wiggles these things that you can put in your ear, and that creates it reproduces recorded
Sound?
sounds. Yeah, it's
Whoa.
amazing. Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it.
It's a new thing. I'm hearing a lot of buzz around that, but I also heard that it also disappeared before it even starts. But we'll have to see.
Yeah,
The N10. I think is a very compelling conversation. I think a lot of people need to pay attention to. The reality is, it offers a lot for what it's being sold for, and the fact that OnePlus decided to release it for a lower price in the US, in my opinion, was the right move. As an introductory to the Nord line, because we never got the original Nord, I really think that's a good one, and
so
I can't wait
it,
to see that.
it's definitely been a surprising phone to cover. So
Mhm.
spoilers, and I don't want to go too deep into my findings in testing the headphone jack and the speaker performance.
Well,
I
before we go into that, though, if you haven't started or if you have not joined and actually started supporting Juan Carlos on the Patreon side, please follow the links in the description below. Connect with Juan Carlos. Make sure you get access to the amazing group that is his Patreon. I'm a part of it, and I can't wait to see the show that he's talking about. He shares a lot of content. There's a lot of good things. There's a Discord server that I'm a part of as well. I know a lot of people ask me, it's like, "What's your Discord server?" I was like, "I don't have one. I go to Juan's." It's that kind of thing. Um, it's just
it is a pretty good crew, and
all the
again,
cool kids are hanging out over there. So please,
really
please
fun
make
tech
sure.
world.
It is. It is. I play Warzone with a couple of your pals. I'm trying to. Uh,
Right.
but sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I hope I didn't cut you off too far.
No, 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 no. It's just it's been refreshing. Um, a phone this inexpensive, and in light of how many,
Hmm.
um, oh, we need to schedule the next game night on the
Yep.
Patreon.
Sorry. See, they
So
they they keep you in check,
I really wanted that to be this Saturday. I need to figure out what we
dude.
could.
If you want, we can set up a Warzone. I'll take over it this Saturday. You can take a week off
We'll see.
if I can fix my Warzone.
Sorry, my brain
Yeah.
just like went in 5 different directions at once because after this one, what I wanted to try and do was do a movie night
Ooh.
where we could jump into the game night Discord, and then we could all just be like talking trash about a ridiculous movie. I was thinking like, oh, I just bumped my mic. I was thinking like Night of the Living Dead because you can stream it for free and
Nice. Okay.
like
Okay.
1960s terrible black and white zombie horror, all while we're in the same Discord. So I
I'll
want
check
to
it
do
out.
that so bad. But anyway,
Sorry.
what's been refreshing is this phone continues to surprise as a daily driver phone, handling all of our smartphone communication.
Yep.
Um, and then when I really do try to push it, it hasn't really failed on me. It hasn't really stumbled. I mean,
Oh,
rendering 4K video, batch processing raw files, and now running it through the same kinds of audio tests that I would run any other phone through, and that it's performing a lot better than I thought it was going to.
yep.
So it's
Well, I mean,
I haven't
okay.
had.
So when the question would be is, I don't think it has a dedicated DAC, right? As a
Well,
as
you're
a
gonna have to watch the video to know what kind
okay,
of audio processing capabilities this thing has.
and what the graphs and the bars and the squiggly
I
lines
have
say.
both the graphs and the bars. That's correct.
You
Yeah.
have proof. That's new. I don't usually do that. I usually
When
just say
you
stuff.
review a phone and you make a claim about that phone's capabilities, instead of saying, "Oh, but I'm not going to test that because obviously you would just buy a Samsung." No, you actually show your testing protocol and you
Yep.
show the what you're talking about. You show your work, and I've plugged this in and done some audio measurements and tested the amp and the DAC, and I've even used it with some of those external amps like that
Hmm.
THX, the helm, and then also the
Yep.
periodic audio.
Okay.
And those buddies at Periodic Audio. I need to do a video on their nickel because that is a cute little Do I have it over here?
Yeah.
It is a cute little amp attachment. So you plug it into a headphone jack, and then you get an output, and it just gives you some extra clean gain to power.
That's nice.
Headphones.
It's always nice. Yeah.
I mean, look at that. It's adorable. And that they give you a cable that it's not like right up against your phone. Like you've got a little bit of wiggle room.
A little bit of give, yeah. The FIO, the biggest thing with me on the FIO is the fact that I have to strap it to the back of my phone to use it.
So when you were using the FIO,
I still use the FIO.
I used it with 5G phones. Have you found that you're getting some 5G interference?
So I tested it out with so I couldn't get it to work on Samsung, so that was out the question because Samsung's ain't cool with that. I tried it out with the Find X2 Pro. It is a 5G phone, but it didn't have 5G in the US, so no interference on the the Find X2 Pro. Like I said,
it did great with LTE. So FIO makes this point that the Q3 is so well shielded against cell phone interference. I worry that most of the audience that they're kind of looking at is iPhone, which means they were probably building that against like iPhone 10s and iPhone 11s.
Yeah, and not realizing the 12 comes out with 5. Yeah, they haven't.
There's something about these new 5G radio arrays where I'm picking up more interference on my monitors, like the speakers I've got on my desktop, and I swear I'm getting more sort of signal saturation or
I get interference on my mic. So on my microphone that I use for recording audio on my Ceramonics, I have to always make sure that all my phones are on the opposite side of my table. Like I cannot by any coincidence leave a phone, and most of my phones now are 5G, like the not the Find X2 Pro, but like the Z Fold 2 is 5G. And it does cause interference, and it's minor, and it doesn't. If I don't catch it, my whole audio track kind of gets trashed, and I end up having to reshoot the whole thing. But no issues for me as far as with the FIO as far as performance. For me, the best part about it is I love plugging it into any PC and then just using it as the headphone, the audio amp, and plugging it into the FX2 Pro was just a blissful experience because it doesn't have a headphone jack and it has audio over USB-C for it is not the best for me. So yeah, thank you for the recommendation, and I really appreciate the fact that I was able to find it for a decent price from Canada, which was not bad. Not flexing or anything, but it's the FIO. It's nice. If you love your ears, get a nice pair of headphones and get yourself a nice DAC, or pick up a V60. It's still I
managed to get the head of Periodic Audio to put down his Galaxy S8, and now he's got a V60.
I love it. The V60 is a beast. It's always a beast.
The cool thing is and also this was fitting because Periodic Audio, they make these very niche premium earbuds, but they keep such a thin casing around their headphone jack connector. It's one of the few earbuds I can use without an adapter on the dual display case.
It fits.
Perfect.
It
snaps right in.
Even on the Velvet. Have you tried it with the Velvet?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The clearance is exact.
I had to buy a whole bunch of those adapter extenders just to use it.
I've got 3 on my desk for all on the
and I know if Andrew was in the chat, he would be like totally understanding exactly what we're talking about.
But again, in the next time we can hang out, I have 2 different pairs, and I'll give you a pair of periodics because as earbuds, they're the only ones. They're the only ones that have fit.
It can be only one.
So again, it was even a happier victory when the guy at Periodic Audio was like, "Okay, I'll get a V60. I want to hear this quad DAC," and you're like, "Dude, you don't even know.
You have no idea.
headphones are for this phone.
Once you put the DAC in and you turn on you have to try it. This is like the weirdest thing ever. But after the Axon, honestly, to me the V60 was just a blissful experience. Like the V20 was great, the V40 was great, and every year over year the quad DAC kept getting better, or the sound experience got better with LG. This is why I'm hoping that the conversation, even if we do get whatever version of a V series this year, that the headphone jack is still in the conversation. That the headphone jack, the expandable storage, that they stick to what worked for them in 2020 and build on it and give us a better experience in whatever form they're able to venture in. I think the recipe for the V60 was on point, especially at a time where they were removing the G series. So once they removed the Z series, and they also brought up the V series, the V series was released much earlier than when it normally is. The V50 and V60 were very close. So it was a different approach, but I liked it. I can't wait, and we'll see what happens with the Explorer, the quad DAC. I like this guy, quad DAC. Yeah.
Quad DAC.
What's the name of that character from the Muppets? I can't remember this guy. It was the scientist guy, but I can't remember. Professor.
I think it's Professor Honeycutt.
Is it Honeycutt? Okay.
Someone will immediately correct me in the comments if I
Please.
have that.
Yeah, if somebody can correct us, because I mean I know what show he's from, but I never remembered exactly.
Beaker. Meep.
Honeydew. Professor.
Professor Honeydew. I don't know that's right. Hold on. I have a web browser that takes me to Bing.
What? It takes you. Hey, no, he's right. Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
Oh, Honeycutt is Fugitoid.
Yeah,
it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Science facts with Bunsen and Beaker. Beaker was the other guy on the show. Oh, I love it. I love. We're retroing. We're going way back in the retro stuff. He has Bing. No.
That's Bunsen Honeydew.
Dr. Bunsen. Well, yeah, he was known as Dr. Honeydew. It was funny to see. Oh man, the Muppets.
So close. Honeycutt was Fugitoid. I can't believe I forgot that.
Man, we're gonna have to take your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles card back.
Man, I need to go back and reread those comics, like the original, like the Eastman and Laird, those black and white TMNTs. I've got the trades, and I have the 5th printing of the very first issue of TMNT.
Oh wow!
And it's in terrible condition because I read actually crap out of that one.
You touched an original.
Well, it was the original. I mean, again, my dad was like, "Oh, it's probably not going to be worth anything. It's like the 5th print." Like, okay, cool. Like, that was all the permission I needed to like not handle this comic well. And now when I think about it, like, oh my god, this is still actually
like you should have. That would have been the one. Yeah, no, I know. It's one of those you have to kind of hindsight is always 2020, and if I knew. We're gonna freeze. We're gonna keep talking. I'm actually. I stopped recognizing the freezes. I just kept going now.
Yeah, you just gotta plow through.
Yeah, kind of plow through. You know, we'll fix it later. What else? I mean, what else are you working on for the next week? Because for me, I have a sponsored video. Just trying to figure out what I want to kind of start focusing on the channel a little bit more. I edited 2 videos today, and that was I'm having a hard time just kind of focusing on 2 channels at the same time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's definitely a trip. So I'm kind of in the same boat where I'm doing pre-pro on some stuff for Newegg because we're still trying to figure out what the new Newegg is going to look like.
You mean the new Newegg?
Yeah,
exactly. This is the 3rd new.
This is like well, Trisha and I did a recap for CES with Mike, who used to do the Newegg Twitch streams.
I saw your tweet about that. I think you guys you did a show together. Yeah,
it was a great conversation. I really miss working with them on that kind of content. But we're still trying to figure out like what does this look like, and then I'm going to be trying to do a 5G follow up for reviews.org, like what
Yeah.
it's like trying to, look for millimeter wave,
Hmm.
how the difference between millimeter wave and sub-6, and what's really expanding and what's really out there. For my own personal channel, I'm kind of getting back into the swing with earbuds.
I have a lot. I have a lot of earbuds I need to kind of get back into.
So I mean, this is going to be the next slate, and I've got a video coming out tomorrow. This actually is now live on the Patreon.
Hmm.
It's going to go public, probably tomorrow afternoon. This is the Ear Fun. This was put on my radar by Jeff at LFA Reviews.
LFA, yeah.
Real good.
Hmm.
Spoilers, they get a positive review.
They
But
get
then also one more sent over their Comfo buds. So I'm going to take a quick trip on a one more flavor of an open ear earbud. And then also TCL did the same. So
I have those TCLs. Yes, I've had those, and I need to kind of come back together in kind of circle back with them. There actually they're reasonably priced. They were selling for about like $30 over the holiday.
So I mean, again, as casually easy things to put sort of generally in front of your ear canal, the Comfo buds and the TCL Move. Interesting to see this type of communication style earbud starting to hit like sub 100, sub 60, sub $40.
Sub 40. We're really, it's no longer, you don't have to pay at all. You don't have to pay a lot at all actually to get a decent pair of wireless headphones now. And TCL for sure. It's not even their first. Last year they released they had other, hold on. I think if I can.
I mean, if the prices keep dropping, eventually they're going to have to pay you to take them.
So there's these guys from last year's CES show.
I never got my hands on those. I wanted to give them a spin.
They're truly, like, I mean, they've been doing good for a while. These are not their sports side. They had different models. They had like 3 different models. But I did get the same headphones that you have, which I'm working on. I need to kind of put those together. I have the Huawei Studios headphones that I also need to
run alongside your AirPods.
Yeah. I need to work those. I think I may have to give those up, maybe going back soon. I got an email from a PR company asking for the "when am I done" conversation, which it's been an interesting, and I do need to kind of get it done soon because we'll if you don't, things will just keep piling up. So short answer, I'm hoping to have this video that comes out tomorrow. If it doesn't, it'll probably be by Monday or Sunday, because I think tomorrow I'll put something else. But keeping it chill, just relaxing a little bit. Nothing really major coming up. I may have a surprise next week. I'm not sure, depending on how things go. I don't know.
Who knows?
You'll have to keep tuned in. Make sure you subscribe to know. But no, editing video for multiple channels is a lot of work, and especially when they're both my channels, so I can't really slack, because if I'm slacking off, guess what? I'm having a conversation with myself. It's like, dude, where's my video? But yeah, no, it's the video on this one. I produced 2 videos, as you guys know, Arabic and in English. And I edited both, and I had to upload and schedule. So the Arabic goes up tomorrow morning. The English went up already a few hours ago. I was gonna say, not years.
So I just got to call this out. I mean, because we've been looking at the chat. Don't think we've been ignoring you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
But Jim pointing out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 5th print is about $30. Well, I'm fine having nearly destroyed my comic through love and reading it. That I'm not too worried. I'm not too anxious about $30.
Gadget Guy 2020. Your fearless followers right there. TK is also leaving. And I'm actually going to be mentioning to you guys, this will be my last show here with Juan.
You have to buy your own 8K red cinema camera to go join that team. Is that?
I think Marquez said that's the requirement. That's the buy-in. You have to buy the 8K red, and you also have to buy a very expensive MacBook fully loaded to handle the footage.
It's the only way you can make your crispy content.
Got it. Team Crispy needs the crispy, and only Red makes the crispy. They don't make phones anymore, but they make the crispy. Wasn't that an interesting experiment? Red making a phone, and that was. I mean, I got a chance to play with it. I got a chance to play with it. It was interesting. I guess to say that. Move.
Oof.
It's a big one. That is a big. Juan copyright to the name. Yeah. By the way, somebody did point something before saying that you really should just pitch to being their PR guy. You should be just LG PR guy.
LG. If I could land those tasty LG ad dollars, it'd be an interesting challenge. They've actually added a few people to their PR team, but I think it'll be interesting to see like how this next year plays out. I mean, like everyone got kind of thrown for a loop last year, so at some point it probably will make sense for me to switch over to like PR or advertising or something like that. But
Rolando's saying I need to remember I need to also get a Tesla. It's not just the 8K. You got to get a Tesla. It's a club.
You got to be able to flex that lifestyle.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And then Farouk's asking is which one is the it's Tarek Tarek Bay. So it's same Bay but Tarek as opposed to TK. The information will be in the link in the video below after the video. I'll make sure to update to show the Arabic channel. I forget that I don't promote it on both sides. It's weird. It's a nice one. It's a good one. And you're not frozen. See, I thought you were frozen. I was trying to like look at the picture. I'm like, is he doing it?
In the comments, you're like, I was just being so still that the human eye could no longer see me. So.
TK's eyes are not noticing it. The glasses are not, they're too reflective. But I am excited. I have to say this much though. I am excited to see what MediaTek has to offer with the new 1100 and 1200 series. That was actually a big announcement. I felt like a lot of people are more excited about that than the 1000, but I feel like you have to keep in mind that the 1000 is very, like, it's hard to explain it. It's a very capable processor, and I like seriously gaming with it. The video that I did, I had no problems at all. Like higher level quality image processing, the refresh rate on this, the 180 hertz, touch sampling rate on it. I missed some of those features that we saw with the Xperia 1 Mark II. I would have hoped that some of those things were in there, but realistically, for the price point, I think it's a great device, and hopefully people will consider it. It looks great. It did that same shimmer color changing thing that OnePlus did with the OnePlus 8. So I really enjoyed taking it outside, and it was really sunny today once the winds kind of died down. Speaking of which, did you guys get impacted at all with the winds, or everything is okay on your end?
Yeah, we did okay. It was 3 really scary nights of getting multiple text emergency alerts that high winds was going to mean like potentially power outages and stuff like that.
We got a lot of that here. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did the mad dash, like, let's do the accounting on just how we can get power. All right. I've got the UPS under my desk that I can rip out if we absolutely need to power a small appliance. I've got 2 super large batteries that are designed to run like televisions if you need to run a TV off power. I also have 2 smaller ones that have AC plugs for charging laptops, and then like a whole stack of like RAV power and Anchor.
I was going to say Anchor, hashtag not sponsored.
Okay, we've got all the power taken care of. Let's say something catastrophic happens. I still have my Review solar cells, my camping portable solar powered units. So if I
have all of those as well
in a window, and I was actually surprised. Like, not only have they held up well, I plugged in my V60, and I had really good direct light, just right through a window, right on it's a 4-panel solar cell. It's a sun jack, and the V60 was reporting that to top off the last 30% of the battery was only going to take about 45 minutes. Yeah, like that.
Oh, you must have had it aligned like with the exactly no. Wow. Okay. Yeah. No. I have a similar set of panels that I probably should break out. So we didn't lose power here for us, and but we did get the same messages. My family was impacted by it. But what I ended up doing is I have a similar battery pack that I reviewed on the channel a while back. But mine has 4 AC power outlets and can actually power a refrigerator. The thing is a beast. And so that was the way we saved my mom's refrigerator and all her food from going bad. It did power the TV, but it seemed like the Spectrum, our provider, was also out at the same time. So even though we could power the TV, there was no internet, no power, no signal. Short answer: almost about they stick a day and a half worth of no power that we had to go through, and then the winds kind of died down, luckily. But we lost a lot of trees. Surprisingly, we had like about 5 to 6 trees down here, like massive trees. So it's very weird. LA and wind.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And again, I mean, like, we were even doing silly things like I've got some cold pack material
Uh-huh.
from some of my medications that we would keep in the freezer. So that
Oh,
way, if we
it keeps
lose power and we need to keep the fridge cool, we can take these giant, it's almost like the stuff that you would pack like one of those meal delivery services,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
a larger crate. So we got
Mhm.
like it's almost like sheets of it, and we could pull it out of the freezer and put that in the fridge, and that'll keep stuff in the fridge a little cooler for a little longer. It's again, Marie and I kind of went into like disaster prep mode.
No,
Well,
no, and you have to. You do need to.
thankfully nothing happened, and it's always been the joke with us, like, if we hadn't done that, then something catastrophic would have happened, but because we took the time to prepare, nothing
laws,
happened.
laws of physics didn't occur. Yeah, no. But the reality is, we, especially when we live in Southern California, earthquake are also another big factor of what happens to us. It's not just these type of things, but the earthquakes that we just have no rhyme or reason when. You do need to be prepared. And I think at the end of the day, I'm glad that you guys are doing well. I'm glad that we got through that wave, and now we get to get the rain, because why
I'm
not?
looking forward to some extended rain.
I'm hoping for some substantial rain, not necessarily just extended. Just the fact that we're so low, like we're really behind on the numbers. January has been almost dry.
Well, but they're saying
Uh,
like we're supposed to get like a week, right?
yeah, no, definitely. And I love this one. Danielle is saying basically DVDs and Blu-rays for power outages. Absolutely. I like I said, I was happy that I was able to power the TV and get it running. But at the end of the day, yeah, she wasn't really able to do much. So that was my mom, and I made sure at least her phone was working. She had internet. She had warm and things like that. So this was definitely an interesting test, but it definitely made sure that we were somewhat prepared for it and we were able to handle it. And we're back. So hopefully, like I said, I'm hoping for some rain. I'm not sure if I'm going to post a video tomorrow, but for the most part, I think for me, for the rest of the week, I have the Saturday morning show, which I might have a couple of people jump in. I don't know. No. Last weekend, if you guys didn't catch it, Juan Carlos did a totally surprise. I didn't know what was happening.
What?
Drop in out of the blue, and yeah, go figure. Juan Carlos does these things. But that was pretty much, yeah, for me. For the rest of this week, I'm going to kind of take it easy. I do have the AirPods, not the AirPods, the Galaxy Buds. Well, so I need to finish the studio. So the studio has to come out first. So because I need to produce that, and that actually will end up being. I'm debating if it's going to end up being a 3-channel or a 2-channel. That's one of those things that come from my relations over from on the XDA side, which I need to kind of solidify at some point. So that may end up being a triple. So I need to get that done because they need that unit back. So I didn't realize they were in such short turnaround, but
Sure.
Either way, they're good. They're not bad. They're not. I mean, so far, I mean, if it's any kind of an interesting tidbit, is they're not as good as the XM4s for sure, but they're very nice. They're definitely designed well, and they work best with actually with the Mate 40 Pro. There are some few features enabled for audio performance there. So we'll have to see. Right. So tech
do we start?
I think it's about that time. Yeah, we kind of run the conversation. I think we're cool. I'm just a honeydew, Dr. Honeydew. That is just kind of kicking me in the. Sorry,
I
Dr.
mean, I'm gonna have to go through the whole run with the Triceratons and Dr. Honeycutt and Fugitoid and like, God, I mean, I'm so mad that I got that flipped in my brain. Like I need to be better at fandom than that.
Absolutely, and also figure out if you're going to end up having a game night or not. If you want, like I
Yeah.
said,
Well, I mean, the thing we ended the last game night, we did Among Us, and it was pretty
yeah.
fun. I kind of want to do something cheesy, so find some like board games or something like that for the next one.
Okay, I'll try my best this time. So I will try my best next time to try to join. I missed the timing of when it was last time, and by the time you messaged me, it was a timing was wrong. But so for sure, and I hope you're still enjoying the A7S III. Just for reference, I got myself a nice cage for mine, so mine now is totally pro. Just for reference.
You pro nerd.
Yeah, I no, seriously, like I got a cage for it now. It's nice. It's set up. The mic is set up in professional. I feel like such a big boy now. I can shoot 8K or something. But yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm glad with the investment from B&H, and we'll see what Sony has. I saw a teaser on B&H's site that Sony may have an announcement in the alpha department next week. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, again, and playing with this A7S III, which I'm gonna have to send back next week. I really don't want to.
I know.
I
I,
really don't want to.
no, that's one reason why it's like I'm trying to tease you with this thing because it's a very nice piece of tech, and like I said, for me, I'm still experimenting with the lenses. I need to find the right combo, see which one works.
It's good.
The 20 mil was really nice.
Oh, stop it!
You froze.
All right, let's close this down.
For sure.
Again, through thick and thin, as we still try and sort out what the heck is causing all of these random freezes and lockups on our live stream.
It's absolutely StreamYard, and now that we're saying the word StreamYard is doing it more and more. So,
but maybe next week we'll try this on Restream, and we'll still stream
actually,
in places, but we can.
No. I think I think we should do that. I think next week's stream we should totally do Restream OBS or I just need to get better at it. I think that was my primary thing. I tested it out a couple times as a solution for mobile because they have an app. That was the other thing that I really liked about it. This Streamlabs has an actual app for Android as opposed to just web-based, which nothing's wrong with web-based. I just found that the interface for the app was better, but I needed to get it running. Like I took your recommendation with trying to run it with,
sort it out. We'll figure it out, and we'll figure out where we need to go.
Back. We'll talk again next week. Yeah, no, I know.
But we'll make that happen. But folks, I definitely want to say a huge thank you for tuning in, for joining us, another geeky nerdy chat, and especially the tone of the show, the title of our podcast here. Don't be shy with what the best of your weeks were. I think we need to start making that the call to action when we're getting the show kind of started up.
Absolutely.
For all of the for all of the streaming services to catch up to our live stream. So I think next week let's really make that the focus. We can do like community best of your week.
Absolutely, and we'll end it with everybody's what is their best of the week. We'll start talking about it, and I think that'll be one of the really good way to engage with everybody as well. Just for reference, no, and we do read the comments. Just for reference, guys, it's not like we're ignoring the comments. We do see the comments, and I want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out with us, and for everybody else checking out, please hit the like, subscribe if you like this type of content. Also, let us know in the comments below if you would love to be able to see this content in an audio podcast format. We currently have our own independent one.
I'm gonna try and make that happen. I need to talk to you about like banners and thumbnail images and stuff like that. So that's going to be a conversation we have. But if that's something you want, make sure you say yes, and that will put us like Vince is saying to yes. To make
I already yeah, I'm getting the yes here. We got we're getting the sign off. I think we're good. We're getting people to agree. I think it'll be a really good format. And I feel like a lot of conversations can also, later on, if you're just driving, you're exercising, you just want to listen to a couple of guys hanging out talking about dad stuff and tech.
TK froze again. All right, we really got to end it. TK, take us out.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Make sure to check out Juan Carlos' information in the description below. We'll see you guys next week on another episode of the best of our week. It'll be episode 7. Take care, everybody.